Thank you, Mr. Chairman and members of the committee, for the opportunity to testify before you today. My name is Alex Matthiessen. I am the Hudson Riverkeeper and president of Riverkeeper, Inc., a New York environmental organization that for more than 3 decades has principally depended on the Clean Water Act to protect the Hudson River, its tributaries, and the New York City drinking water supply, which serves over 9 million people, half the state's population. The Hudson is an internationally heralded model for waterway restoration, and it's largely because of the Clean Water Act and the ability that groups like ours have had to use it to protect the state's waters. I appear before you today on behalf of the Waterkeeper Alliance, a coalition of over 100 waterkeeper programs across the nation, all working to protect their local rivers, bays, sounds, lakes, and estuaries. In my testimony, I will briefly address the negative impact that the Swank and Rapanos decisions have already had on New York's vital water resources, which is the basis for our strong support for passage of the Clean Water Restoration Act. By enacting QWARA, Congress simply would be reaffirming a prior Congress's intent to protect our nation's extensive and interconnected water resources from pollution and degradation. This legislation is of utmost importance if this nation ever hopes to fulfill Congress's original promise of eliminating pollution from our nation's waters, a goal we've missed by 22 years to date and sadly are still many years away from achieving. Previous witnesses have chronicled for you the current and still largely impaired state of our nation's waters today and the deleterious impact that the Swank and Rapanos decisions have rendered and will continue to render on them. I will focus on the state of New York's waters and the challenges we face in trying to protect and restore them, challenges now greatly exacerbated by these ill-advised Supreme Court decisions. In New York, approximately 37% of the state's river miles and 77% of the state's lakes, including the Great Lakes, are impaired. Additionally, the fish in 41% of New York's waters are not safe to eat, and New York's wetlands are disappearing fast. An estimated 60% of New York's original wetland acreage has been lost to development. The pollution filtration and aquifer recharge provided by the region's wetlands is extremely important to ensure the delivery of safe drinking water to nearly half the state's resident population. Close to 40% of New York's remaining wetlands are located at the headwaters of the Hudson River and its tributaries. Representing a combined 16,000 square mile area of the these headwaters feed New York's Hudson River watershed and New York City's drinking water watershed, which provides over 1.5 billion gallons of prize-winning unfiltered drinking water to over 10 million people each day. But these watershed areas are vulnerable because they are inundated with quote-unquote isolated wetlands and ephemeral streams, water resources that no longer enjoy clear protection in a post-Swank and Rapanos world. Allow me to give you just 2 examples of the Corps' arbitrary, inconsistent, and legally erroneous no jurisdiction determinations subsequent to Swank and Rapanos. The Lysander wetland, a 19-acre freshwater wetland located in Lysander, New York, in Onondaga County, represents an excellent illustration. In 2001, when local residents realized that plans were underway to fill the Lysander wetland and construct housing on the site, they presented the Corps with a 1957 and 1962 map of the area. These maps depicted a brook that had been channeled underneath their adjacent subdivision and had flowed from the Lysander wetland into the Seneca River, a navigable water of the United States. Ignoring this information, the Corps issued a no jurisdiction determination in 2003, stating that the site at issue was an isolated wetland. When the homeowners subsequently pressed the Corps to reconsider, the Corps explained that the Buffalo District, as a matter of post-Swank legal interpretation, no longer considered hydrological connections to navigable waters through man-made water conveyances sufficient for establishing Clean Water Act jurisdiction. The homeowners took the case to the New York State Attorney General's office. After conducting its own investigation, the Attorney General filed a notice of intent to sue the Corps and EPA in November 2004. In response to this legal challenge, the EPA ultimately reversed the Corps' decision. The citizens ultimately prevailed, but at enormous cost and waste of time and taxpayer dollars. The Ansville Creek wetland provides another alarming illustration of the Corps' inability to effectively protect wetlands post-Rapanos. In October 2007, the Corps found that a wetland in Peekskill, New York was isolated and non-jurisdictional despite being only 50 feet away from Ansville Creek, a tributary of the Hudson River flowing south out of the highlands into Peekskill Bay. Despite acknowledging that the wetland is situated on top of a former landfill and may be contributing to the pollution of Ansville Creek, the Corps determined that its hydrological connection to the creek through a swale feature was non-jurisdictional. The Corps purportedly found it significant that water only flows from the wetland to Ansville Creek and not in the other direction. The Corps also determined that the wetland lacked a significant nexus to an intermittent stream that directly flows into the Ansville Creek, despite substantial evidence to the contrary. Both of these cases illustrate the myriad problems created by arbitrary and legally flawed Corps jurisdictional determinations post-Swank and Rapanos, and the need for costly litigation in order to preserve wetlands and waterways that should, from the outset, be clearly protected under the Clean Water Act. To make matters worse for us in New York, the DEC, our state environmental agency, only regulates wetlands that are 12.4 acres or larger, except in those cases where a wetland can be shown to be of local unusual importance by the DEC commissioner. With the loss of protection under Swank and Rapanos, there is now no clear federal or state protection for thousands of small but hydrologically significant wetlands throughout New York State that are threatened by development. Without clear and strong guidance from Congress on the broad jurisdictional reach of the Clean Water Act, as currently outlined in the Clean Water Restoration Act, Riverkeeper simply cannot fulfill its mission of acting on the public's behalf to protect the Hudson River and other vital New York waters. QUARA will put an end to the state of confusion that Swank and Rapanos have engendered among relevant federal agencies and return to the status quo of Clean Water Act regulation that was in place for 30 years prior to 2001. Rather than expanding the reach of the Clean Water Act, as QUARA's opponents have disingenuously argued, the QUARA amendments merely conform the statutory text of the Clean Water Act to the EPA and Corps implementing regulations that were in place for more than 30 years prior to the upheaval caused by the Swank and Rapanos decisions. Now more than ever, Congress must pass the Clean Water Act restoration to reaffirm the statute's original intent, which, according to the language of the Act itself, as has been pointed out today, was to, quote-unquote, restore and maintain the chemical, physical, and biological integrity of the nation's waters and make our nation's treasured waters fishable and swimmable once again. Needless to say, fulfillment of that goal is long overdue.